All right, welcome everybody to your NXT Stand and Deliver 2025 preview and predictions. This is also going to serve as a sort of NXT review since we did just get done with NXT April 15th, 2025. But man, there's not much to talk about because we normally try and skip stuff that we dislike, and this show was garbage.
Yeah, I said to you just before we went live, this show had a negative impact on my hype level. Like, if this was a solid go home show, I think the number I had in my mind, just because it is NXT and Stand and Deliver, all that, I probably would have come in 8.5.
Yep.
I feel like I'm at a 7 now after that go home show.
Yep.
7, I think, is exactly where I am because the women's four way should be okay. Like, you can tell what, in my mind, NXT thinks the priority is, and that is the continuation of a Julia Vicaire like singles feud. Even though if we're just going by promos, I feel like Jada Parker stole the show tonight. Um, I really don't care for the women's tag team match, the hodgepodge, because there's a team that I think deserves to win, but I think they're going to get snubbed for the team that like will just, I guess, make for a quote unquote better TV match, and we'll get to that. The men's triple threat for the world title, I think, is solid. I did enjoy that closing segment. The women's ladder match took the biggest hit for me. Them passing on Tatum Paxley for Lola Vice, who I think has really cooled down, although maybe I'm wrong because the crowd seemed behind her tonight and Tatum was working heel. How you could have somebody like Tatum work heel after she really got over working that feud with Wendy Chu makes no sense to me. And again, her getting snubbed just to be a part of the women's like four-way tag match, I think that's a waste of Tatum, and I love Gigi to death. I mean, no disrespect to her, but I mean, come on. Yeah, the women's ladder match took the biggest hit for me. I only really care about I think one person in that match, and that's Sol Ruka. Hank and Tank versus I mean, dude, you and I have been dunking on that from the jump. Um, NQCC's right there. Tyson and Tyreek are right there. I don't know where the hell OTM are, but I miss them. Tag division is a two pack of fucking ass. This is the worst tag team division as far as who's getting pushed and prioritized. I've seen in recent NXT history, if not all of NXT history, uh, this is an easy skip. And speaking of easy skips, I don't dislike Ricky Saints. In fact, I feel like if when he really gets in a groove, I might actually grow to really like him. But Ethan Page is not it. I mean, I have been roasting this dude every time we get on here. So yeah, just looking at how the card really finished out, my hype's at a 7 out of 10. Man, this stand and deliver more like a sit down and fumble, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh. Yeah, it's brutal, man. Um, the passing on Tatum is one thing. Like that. That's already a brutal decision in and of itself because I think Tatum Paxley is and this, I'm not going to pretend that there's no such thing as bias or that I'm not biased. I know I am. I know that I have my favorites. But from my perspective, I do believe that Tatum Paxley is one of the top five overall best performers in NXT. I think that she is top five or six in the ring, top three or four in terms of like promo, mic, character stuff. Um, and passing on her and having her not be in contention for any championships at all at Stand and Deliver, I think is a fumble on many levels. First and foremost, because it tells me that NXT doesn't know what they have in her. That NXT, in terms of like from a talent evaluation standpoint, that NXT just does not see how much of a talent that they have in Tatum Paxley. And then I think another level to the fumble is that they went with Lola Vice over her, who like Lola is, you know, fine, I guess. But and here's my thing too. This is what kind of sort of fucks with me. The
Yeah,
crowd was really into Lola here.
that surprised me, man, because I really thought there was a time where Lola might have cooled off, but the crowd was still very bad, and you would
Well,
have
it was
thought
a
Tatum would have
return
heated
too
up.
because we haven't
Yeah,
seen Lola in a while, and we know that that plays into it.
yeah.
Commentary was really blowing gas or blowing smoke up her ass. Um, Yeah,
Again, it was just
man.
weird seeing Tatum work heel in that match.
It was so weird. Yeah, it really felt like the entire match was designed to make Lola feel deserving and like, yeah, obviously Lola's gonna win the match. Like that was it felt like the goal of that match was not only just to have Lola win, but the actual process of the match itself was designed to make the audience feel like it was natural for Lola to be the winner of the match and correct for Lola to be the winner of the match, and it felt wrong to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, I don't know. This is like a 2 or 3 layer fumble for me. And then, like, later on in the night, they did have Thea Hale return and defeat Carmen Petrovich in relative quick fashion to become the sixth member of that match. I'm happy for Thea. And at this point, based on the fact that they saved her return for this, the fact that they had her return in a backstage segment and then come out and dominate Carmen the way she did, the reception that she got, the fact that she was the last one to qualify, this is preview and predictions, and I'm just going to say it. I've got Thea Hale winning the NXT Women's North American Championship on Stand and Deliver. She's my pick.
I, Let me just get out of the way since it seems like we're just going to talk as far as the preview predictions. We're talking about this match first. Um, my emotional pick is Sol Ruka. Like that would get the biggest pop for me. The biggest
Yeah,
smile on my face is
yeah,
Sol Ruka because Mother Hen Ren didn't qualify, and even far more regrettably, Tatum didn't qualify. I am torn between Zarya and Thea as the two that are most likely to win. Um, which it's funny because I feel like this ladder match is going to be used as a mechanism to maybe tease further tension between Zarya and Soul because they've been kind of playfully arguing. Like Soul's been really chill. She's like either one of us, and Zarya is the one that's more aggro. Is like either one of us, you mean me, right? Like really hyper competitive. I almost wonder if they want Zarya to go heel soon, which makes sense to me when you look at how
yeah.
she wrestles and just her presence and everything.
Well, that and the fact that, like, she's one of the three big acquisitions from this past fall, and she's the one that didn't get over immediately.
Exactly. Which honestly, bro, with that in mind, and I'm not trying to create a rationalization for my fandom, right? I am saying that like I don't want to completely dismiss Soul either, only because it could dovetail into Zarya beating the crap out of her, like in a future NXT episode, and then it being about the title. But I'm not really counting Soul again. I'm really dialed in on Zarya or Thea. I think they've wanted to make Thea a champion for a while. I personally feel like it's kind of weird that they're doing it now when I feel like the pop would have been when she was with Chase U. Um, but okay. So I think tentatively I'm gonna co-sign with you, but I'm really side-eyeing Zarya or even Soul. Again, Soul's more of a fandom pick, but I could see Soul winning, and again, that just leads to tension and animosity with her and Zarya. But I think I'll agree with you that Thea's gonna win. And yeah, we'll just see how our reign goes from there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Soul would pop me the most. I think Izzy would pop me a lot, but I have no hope for her actually doing it.
Yeah,
I think the person who would annoy me the most if they won would be Lola, but Kalani is up there too because like we didn't enjoy her first reign, and her current character is literally just crashing out and an absolute mess. And I don't even mean like to say that like her character is that she is a mess. I'm saying like her character's all over the place. It seems like the writers don't even know what they want her to do or be. Figure that out before you go putting any fucking gold on her. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, Lola is a nothing burger. I think she's probably the least likely to win. And maybe that's why they didn't put Tatum in this because they didn't want her overshadowing Thea, and Thea was the plan to win the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, which again, like I don't even dislike Thea. I just feel like the timing is weird for me, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, what match should we talk about next?
Um, you know what? We're on the women, and the next biggest thing that I enjoyed about this NXT was all of the video packages that we got for all four of the women in the women's championship match.
Yeah.
I think the one that definitely stood out to me the most was Jada's, so we can save that for last. I think the one that I liked the least was actually Jordan Grace's, um, because like they they kept showing old pictures of her when she was heavier, and she kept on talking about how like the skill that I have that makes me better than my competition is self-awareness. So like they're basically shoving in their audience's face like Jordan was aware that she was overweight. She decided that that was not acceptable, so she started hitting the weights and getting in shape. She did the Kevin Nash thing. She hit the weights and got a clue. Learn, bitches. Like that was it was it's funny that she says she's self-aware and yet it seems like it's such a like inability to read the room moment with this video package.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I agree. I really didn't have much feeling towards Jordan Grace's portion. I thought Stephanie came off very much like a champion, you know, because they're showing her
Yeah.
media appearances and rallying around the
I
people.
thought Stephanie had the second best one behind Jada. I thought Stephanie's was fantastic. I loved getting to see her, kind of in her environment, in her moment, in her sort of home field. It was really cool to get her, kind of living and vibing where she feels her most natural and comfortable in Chile. That was really cool. Um,
I like Julia's, but I'll tell you with Julia's, I keep going back to I swear that they want to make this woman heel and they want her to do a continue the program with Stephanie Vaquer like as the baby face, I
yeah,
guess. Um, and I'm here for it, man. I said it
yeah,
last week on Weekend Review. I think heel Julia fucking is awesome.
yeah,
I would get behind her so quick. Because yeah, she said I waited for her to give me a rematch and she didn't. Um, Personally, I even wonder if Julia just gets the title back right away because this whole thing has kind of been like low key a mess. But you know, before that, then we get to Jada's, and I'll just say before I give the reins to you, what I loved about Jada's video package on a more meta level, because I have been asking for this for literally fucking months, maybe even close to a year. This felt like those old takeover on target in-depth video packages they used to do. This like was the closest to that feeling to me because you're in her neighborhood. She's walking, she's talking about her family, her dad, her uncle, who she calls her best friend. Like, this was the Jada Parker portrait that I feel like will endear her to a lot of people, and it's appropriate that she's given this one because she probably feels most like the underdog to people. I'm sure there are a lot of people like us in this space that assume she's in this match to eat the pin. And what I like about this video package is it's like, no, I'm not a pin eater. If anything, you should be looking at me as a pin taker because I'm, as in taking the pin for myself and winning the fucking championship because nothing's gonna stop Jada Parker. And I love the confidence. I love how vulnerable she was. She cried in this, which I feel like was really interesting. So yeah, what did you think about all this?
yeah. Jada's video package here was really, really good. Talking about wanting to play sports as a kid, wanting to play football and not being allowed to, and then taking what she thought was like the next best thing and playing soccer instead. Being very vulnerable about her relationship with her uncle, and then feeling like the world kind of taking him away from her was kind of the moment which she decided that she couldn't trust anyone, and that she kind of hardened herself and kind of decided that she wasn't gonna you know be friends with anyone at that point, or that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it was not only was it a really good moment and a really good sort of character piece on her, but I also think that it was more of just Jada Parker cutting incredible promos. Like she's the best, at least in NXT, at this, if not in the entire company, if not the fucking world at this point. Um, it's incredible how good she is already, and experience is certainly not going to make her worse at it. So there you go.
Just to and I'm giving you full credit for this. I wanted to make sure I went on the Discord. The Ashton said this for himself on his side of things. Just to prove your point about her talking, you quoted her in the Discord when she said, "Just because I carry something with ease, don't mean that it ain't heavy." And you said that was a quote of the year candidate for you. So I don't know if you put that
Yeah,
in your awards already,
I
but you
did.
should
I did.
remember
Yes,
this.
I did.
Okay, okay. Because yeah, I might just put the whole promo in there and then maybe mine a quote later, and I would probably just share that quote with you. That would be in a shared award that if we did have it I
Yeah.
couldn't even like complain about it. That quote goes hard. I've said it before. I mean, she's a stone cold for a modern era. She ain't drinking beers and flipping fingers, but she stands on fucking business, and that goes a long way. So as far as a winner, I really am tempted to just say that Stephanie win. I'm torn between Stephanie and Julia just regaining. I would love
I am
if
too.
Jada. I would love if Jada just came out of nowhere and won the fucking title. To be perfectly honest with you, that would be insane. But I just don't see that happening. Um, I think though, you know what? I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I think Stephanie just retains.
Yeah, I do think that Stephanie is retaining here. Um, it I think Sort of the most interesting thing that they could do here, to me at least, would be to have Jordan win, or I'm sorry, not Jordan, have Julia win by pinning someone other than Stephanie, so either Jordan or Jada. That way, it's like Stephanie never really lost to lose the title, and she maintains credibility and she maintains an argument that she could still be champion and stuff. And you can continue that program, which I do think they want to do. I think that that's a very viable option. So you know what? For the sake of us not just agreeing on everything, I will pick Julia to win here. I also just think it's really fucking weird that like they took the title off Julia only for her to be able to come back less than a month later. It feels like I'm pretty sure it's like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. It's NXT's decision making lately has been legitimately horrific.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this episode tonight, if we were more jaded, no pun intended to Miss Jada Parker.
Which
But
is funny
yeah.
because Jaded is actually the name of the finisher of Jade Cargill.
Oh yeah, that's right. Um, but no, like if we were more jaded at this point in time, which it's honestly incredible that we're not, because I know you and I have like a lot of complaints about things. But yeah, like after a golem show like this, I'd be asking you, do you maybe want to skip Stand and Deliver? But there are genuinely good matches on this card. This go home show, I think only did one or two of them any kind of service. Again, I did enjoy the closing segment. And I think the other segment, when I say one or two, would be the family versus Dark State.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like so many like do we just want to rip the Band-Aid off and talk about the tag team gauntlet match next? I mean, I know we're skipping it, but we do preview and predict every match, even the ones we're
Yeah.
skipping. So
Yeah. This was probably the most painful segment of the night for me. I really, really hated this because not only do we start off with Tyson and Tyreek getting basically squashed in under 3 minutes, but then my least favorite team in the gauntlet, other than Hank and Tank, which is the team that squashed Tyson and Tyreek, by the way, uh, Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance, whoever the fuck that guy is, he just got randomly introduced on TV with no real introduction. Those guys take Hank and Tank over 10 minutes to beat. Immediately after they squash Tyson and Tyreek in under three, and then they do beat them. And then who comes out? No quarter catch crew, and those guys get beat in a shorter amount of time. And then the last team is Briggs and Inamura, and those guys also get beat in like a relatively short amount of time. So the team that took the longest to beat was fucking Jensen, Brooks Jensen, and Nico Vance. And the team that took the least amount of time to beat was the team that we were probably rooting for the most, TNT. And the team that won was fucking Hank and Tank. Like this was a brutal segment. This lasted like almost a half hour, I want to say. And we know it went over 20 minutes because there was literally a point in time during the match that Vic Joseph said that Hank and Tank had been in the ring for over 20 minutes, acting like it was like this big, you know, crazy feat.
you know, I don't want to be the guy shitting all over everything, but we can only tell our truth, right? Hence why this is our show. I feel like this gauntlet match encapsulated perfectly everything wrong with the NXT tag team division today. The same way that your champions encapsulate everything wrong with the NXT tag team division today. I just Bro, you've said you haven't like said it in the context of this match, but you have said it a few times in the course of our history doing the show. Like when somebody, either me or somebody on our Discord, like really wants something, that monkey paw curls. Well, what did we want? I wanted Fraxium to no longer be tag team champions. Monkey paw curls, and now it seems like it might be Hank and Tank. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me! Like, I feel like Tyson and Tyreek are such an imposing, legitimate looking team. I don't know what happened without the mud. I'm convinced one of them's injured. And we already kind of had to talk about this after Monday Gold today when you and I were off the air. I feel like, one of them's injured. And you know what they do with tag teams. If one of you are injured, well, both of you can get fucked. We're not doing anything with either of you.
Yep.
Um, and so it sucks that they weren't even in this because that would be either that or God forbid, I hope they didn't get released.
We would have heard
NQ,
something.
NQCC, I mean, come on. Like you guys know how I personally, I know Ashton, you're a big fan of them too. Like I fucking love Miles and Tavion as a tag team. And I thought they had one of Fraxium's better matches at Deadline. Um Hell, even Swipe Right. They had such an amazing showing against Fraxium 2 weeks ago. Like it would have been nice if they were in this gauntlet just to get another shot at it. But no, you go with fucking Hank and Tank, who I'm just very underwhelmed by. And so yeah, like I just continue to hate tag team wrestling in NXT. Now, as far as a prediction goes, so we can mercifully move on from this pile of shit. Um, I actually am gonna go Hank and Tank winning the fucking titles.
Yep.
I feel it. So I'm gonna go with a title change. But what doesn't change is just our complete apathy towards the NXT tag division. So what is your official prediction?
What does antipathy mean, John?
Just when I say apathy, I mean just not caring,
No,
right?
no,
Like,
I know what apathy means. I know that there's a word antipathy. I want to know what it means. I forget.
okay, let me just define that for you. Antipathy meaning, and we've got extreme dislike, aversion, or
See,
repugnance.
that's my feeling towards NXT's tag division. I don't feel apathetic towards it because that would imply that I don't feel anything towards it at all. I feel antipathetic towards it.
Oh well, there you go.
I
God
loathe
damn.
it. I hate it. I think it sucks. I think that it is awful. And I really just want to see it improve more than anything. That's my feeling towards it. I don't have apathy towards it because that would imply that I don't care if it stays the same or gets better. I feel antipathy towards it.
You know what? I'm proud of you because I think ever since Deadline when NQCC lost and then Out the Mud lost. I think that was especially the time because I could have forgiven NQCC losing because I'm like, you know what? I really like OTM. They worked so hard because I remember one of the like earlier times they challenged for the tag titles and it was okay, but I'm like, oh, you know, they can get better. And they did get better. And I'm like, oh, that should definitely be rewarded. And then when it wasn't, I'm like, okay, so it's just the Fraxium show. I'm checking out. And then I tune back in and it's fucking Hank and Tang. And it's just, it's hard, man. It's hard. But so do you agree with me about Hank and Tang winning, or where are you falling with
No,
this?
yeah, I do. I do think that they're really going to go there, and I'm making this prediction partially to protect my own ego and to protect my own vulnerability because I don't want to be optimistic about this because I tried being optimistic several times on NXT tonight and I ate shit for it. So I'm not going to do it again here.
Yeah, I felt so bad for you in the Discord because I know exactly what you're referring to. And like, yeah, that was rough. So hugs to everyone that went through a similar thing. What match should we talk about next, bud?
Let's talk about um, Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page, a match that you and I will not be reacting to, similar to the tag title match. We will not be reacting to that either. We agree though that Saints is just retaining here, right?
Yeah, I couldn't give less of a shit about this. Saints is retaining. We can move on.
So you are truly apathetic about this match.
Oh my god, totally. Fuck Ethan Page. And again, nothing against Ricky Saints. I actually feel like I could like him a lot, but this ain't it, dog. Nah, fuck you.
Okay, well, that makes that extremely easy then. Let us move on. Let's move on specifically to the D'Angelo family versus Dark State, which was the closing segment of NXT tonight, I believe, right?
Not the closing segment because let's remember that was Javon, Oba, and Trick,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
all in the ring together. But when I talk about stories that actually were done a service with this go home show, I actually like this parking lot brawl. I like the parking lot brawl, and I liked kind of the emotional tension
yeah.
between Stacks and Tony. Um,
Oh God, I'm
so
I'm scared for Tony, man.
hey, look, I grew up on mom movies. We all know this. What have I been saying for months? Somebody's getting peshied. And even Javaris has started lifting that language himself, in the Discord I saw tonight. Um, yeah, Tony's gonna get his Joe Pesci moment, courtesy of Stacks. Let me just ask you something real quick though, just so that I stay grounded and don't get totally unhinged. Um, do we still think Stacks might be a leader at Dark State, or do we think that they're just going a different way with that? Because I'm
I
I'm
mean,
seeing
after that
Stacks.
parking lot brawl, I have a hard time imagining Stacks being the leader
Yeah,
because like he ate shit several times and he beat the shit out of a couple of those guys. Um, and then I just love that Tony D shows up with a crowbar and beats the fuck out of him. That was great.
yeah, that was great. Tony looked like a real leader here. I,
Yeah,
I
he really
really
did.
he
That's
came off
great.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dark State's just winning though, right? Like no way you have
They
them lose
have,
this
I
fucking
mean,
early.
honestly, even tonight, I feel like they went 2 50-50 with the guys that they brawled with because like you've got the family minus their leader going 50-50 with Dark State didn't feel right to me. I felt like Dark State should have destroyed those guys, but it did seem like there were a lot of guys there with the family. It wasn't just Stacks and Luca. It seemed like there were a bunch of like mobster type guys there, and they were all like older guys too. Um, but yeah, like that was weird. That was I wasn't a fan of how Dark State was portrayed in that parking lot brawl. I feel like they ate a little too much shit there, honestly.
I kind of felt the same. I think I forgave it a bit because I mean the family opened with fucking crowbars. I think Dark State just wanted to brawl, right? Fisticuffs, and they're here bringing
I will
weapons.
say yet again, Saquon Sugars was the standout for Dark State in the parking lot brawl. Even
Oh, if they play this faction right and they give it enough time to breathe and they do a gradual fucking story, you make a major single star out of that dude when that group dissolves. Because
yeah,
that's the thing. We know every tag team, for the most part, dissolves, every faction dissolves. And the question is, what pieces do you pick up? What was your big project? I think Sugars is the project. I think he's the priority. And I say that as a guy that also really likes Dion Lennox, but Sugars, I think, is far and away the guy that you focus on post Dark State. But for now, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm going to enjoy Tony D getting betrayed and losing his ability to trust because I'm me. And so,
you are
yeah,
you. Oh my God, hi you.
hi, yeah, hello, you. But yeah, I'm going Dark State for the win.
All right, yeah, we agree on that. They have to win. If they don't win, I mean, talk about DOA. Jesus Christ.
Dude, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, well, there's only actually, you know what? There is another match we haven't talked about that isn't
The
just the main event.
the women's tag, right?
Yeah, apparently it's going to be on the pre-show, so we have to wake up even earlier if we want to watch
Fuck. I am so cooked. I am so fucking cooked.
that. It's okay, man. Just wake up at noon. We'll be fine. I know you
Um,
made a sound there, but I think Chris ruined it for me.
yeah, it's probably better that way. I would have come off really immature, but I'm not happy about it. But anyway, yeah. I'm just gonna say straight away, Lash and Jakara should win this match. I think they're the most deserving team. But what
That is
makes me pissy,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, what makes me pissy is they're not going to. I just think Cora and Roxanne
Really?
are gonna win. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I just experienced a bunch of whiplash because I didn't expect you to say any of what you just said.
Okay. Well, let's scale it back and let's get your opinions first, so you can kind of orient yourself. How do you look at this whole thing? Because remember, this is going to be for a match Tuesday after Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
So
I do think that I mean, my thinking on who wins this match is almost going to influence who I then would expect to win the women's tag titles at Mania, believe it or not. Because I do think that Lash and Jakara will win if the plan is for Liv and Raquel to retain. Because I think Lash and Jakara versus Liv and Raquel is a great match waiting to happen because of the matchups. You get Raquel in there versus someone of Lash's stature, and that is an interesting matchup for sure. Whereas if the plan is to have Bailey and Lyra win, I mean, you've got really interesting choices between the Tatum Paxley team with Gigi because of the dynamic between Tatum and Lyra, and then the Roxanne Cora team because of the dynamic between Roxanne and Bailey.
yeah, and Roxanne and Lyra too, given their history for the NXT Women's title.
Yeah, that
They
too, for sure.
yeah.
I think Fatal Influence is the only wrong pick here, which, given the decisions NXT has been making lately, means they're no less likely to win, if not maybe even more likely to win.
Yeah. I really don't want to see Tara fight each other. Like I just, that's my friendship. That's my everything ship. Is Tara
That's amazing.
is Tara. Because I want them to be women's tag champions one day. Because Bailey doesn't want to be women's tag champions with Lyra. She just wants to keep her close so that she stays close to that women's intercontinental championship. Which I'm not judging, Pamela. Betray her, traumatize her, do what you need to do to win and advance your own aims.
Oh my god.
Because remember, Bailey, it's like I said, friendship is only knowing how to use the game pieces in front of you. Use Lyra to your own benefit and then throw her away like feathers to the fucking wind.
Oh my
But
god.
after all that, I will say that yeah, I do think Roxanne and Cora are gonna win. So I'm just predicting them. So yeah, yeah,
So your official prediction is Roxanne and Cora?
Yes, because I said I feel like Jakara and Lash deserve to win.
Can you explain
Um,
that reasoning to me? Why do Lash and Jakara deserve to win more than anyone
I
else?
just I
Just
just feel like they've just improved the most as a team, like, especially Jakara, I feel like she stepped her game up. I feel like they're over as a team. I feel like they had a very competitive outing against Bianca and Jade when or excuse me, Bianca and Naomi, when they were tag team champions. I'd like to see them get another shot. I just think they have that team experience. I mean, you've got because what is it? It's JC and Fallon, right? Well, they've
yeah.
been arguing backstage on and off for months. Tatum and Gigi, like I love them, but I honestly feel like Tatum's above the tag team, and they really haven't had the kind of spotlight to
Okay, but
me.
can we take into account that tonight proved that NXT very clearly does not feel like that?
I mean, that is true. That is true, and I do also think you're not wrong to consider them as far as official predictions goes. I just feel like Lash and Jakara more than any other team has like really polished their act. They feel the most like a tag team. Like even Roxanne and Cora, even though I'm officially predicting them, yeah, they're friends, but they've never felt like a tag team to me the way that Lash and Jakara do. So I'm just looking at it as they've put in the work to really make the tag team gimmick work. Whereas everybody else just honestly feels like singles competitors to me. I don't really feel like any other tag team vibe from anybody other than Lash and Jakara, just for me personally. So yeah, that's why I say that I feel like they deserve to win more than anybody, but I just think that Cora and Roxanne are taking it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I am picking Roxanne and Cora as much as it pains me because if there's anyone in this match that I could just pick, like if I could actually make the decision for NXT and make them pick a winner, I would go with Tatum and Gigi.
Yeah,
That's why I was confused when you said Metaphor deserved it more than anyone because I'm like, I really thought that you were going to say that about Tatum and Gigi,
no. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
especially after Tatum got snubbed tonight.
Yeah, she got snubbed for a prize in a division that I think she should be like emphasized in more, but NXT just disagrees. And that really irritates me, but I can't do anything about it, so there you go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the fact that they basically made a whole storyline out of Roxanne not being able to find a partner, and then at the very last minute, Cora comes in, it definitely seems like they're winning.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's talk about Oba Trick Javon.
I will give NXT this. What a beautiful sight it is to see three black men main eventing for a world fucking title. Not a drop of fucking mayonnaise in sight. Which, oh, speaking of mayonnaise, one more thing about that parking lot brawl, Draco Knox sighting. Good for you, Draco. Um, from WWE Evolve, which we'll be reviewing tomorrow at 11. So be sure to check
You know
that out,
what?
guys.
You just helped me to realize that there is at least one, at least half black performer in all but one match on this card. The one match that doesn't have an at least half black performer on it is the tag titles. Fuck you, Hank and Tank.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. But yeah, no, I think it's very cool. Like, what an image. And I mean, hell, when you look at the caliber of performer, Oba, God, enough said. Trick Williams, future top star, in my mind still. I definitely think he'll have look, if Cody can have his moment in the sun, Trick Williams definitely can. I feel like sometimes his promos are a bit shaky, but I would take a bad Trick Williams promo over a Cody Rhodes promo where Cody thought he ate, because chances are he didn't. And Javon, who is really he's just so young and already so good and so confident. I love it. I love it. I thought the closing segment was great because again, much like the Rhea Bianca Io feud, but in this case the champion is the one getting disrespected. Javon keeps getting overlooked. I mean, they really hit you over the head with it, tonight in the segment because they threw him over the top rope twice,
Yeah.
trying to dismiss him, and then he kind of inserts himself and asserts himself with a springboard, double cutter, taking both guys out. But I'll say this, Javon holding that title, he looked fucking good holding that title.
Yep.
I'm like, damn. Um, yeah, man, I think you call up Oba and Trick post Mania, preferably to different brands because I don't think I'd want too much star power on one brand. I think you should have. Personally, I want Oba on whatever brand Gunther is because take my fucking money immediately. And you could put Trick on the other one. Maybe Trick even ends up on the same brand as Mello, and then they could maybe tease that for him potentially.
Yeah.
But I think Javon's just winning. I think we're looking at a new NXT champion. So that's my feeling. And what are you predicting?
Yeah. I've been saying that even like publicly on our, shows. I've been saying that I do think Javon's winning, and I'm standing by it. I do think Javon is going to be the new NXT champion, and I think Oba and Trick are not going to be in NXT to cash in any kind of rematches either. I think they are both main roster bound. I think Oba uh, might very well be a champion. I don't want to say world because they might slow play and give him a mid card title first, like they did with Braun. But I do think Oba's going to be a champion at SummerSlam, if not by SummerSlam this year, on the main roster. Trick, I'm not as confident about.
Think is gonna take time. I'll say this, bro. I think Oba, main roster Oba, will get the Gunther treatment because I don't think it was long before Gunther won the Intercontinental title and he went on his insane run. I feel like Oba could be very similar. Like within 3 months of being with the company, he
Yeah.
wins. And you figure we're in April, so yeah, like that would be July, close to that SummerSlam parameter that you set. I say within 3 months, yeah.
Yep.
He wins a mid card title and he goes on. I mean, Triple H is definitely a believer in long title reigns these days. I could see Oba doing a calendar year title run. If I'm being perfectly fucking honest, like, yeah,
And it would be
he's
about damn time too, because if we are correct about our prediction about Javon winning and Oba getting called up right away, he will have gotten cut short of what he should have had, which was a really long, dominant NXT championship reign.
exactly. So you're standing on your prediction. The question is, will NXT booking deliver? But we are looking at Javon being the next world champion, which I think could be a
And
very
let's be real,
promising reign for him.
Javon absolutely deserves it after the shit that they have put him through with this Ethan Page broken jaw garbage.
Definitely,
You know who hasn't had
definitely.
to jump through a million fucking hoops to get here? Oba.
Yeah, yeah.
And frankly, it's a good thing because Oba's fantastic and he shouldn't have to jump through a million hoops to get through anywhere. But like Trick and Javon have had to jump through a needless amount of hoops to fucking get here. Trick has already held the damn title. He doesn't need another reign. Put the damn thing on Javon, god damn it.
I will say the one thing about this show and this feud that I'm really grateful for is it gave me a line that you had that popped me so hard, and that was when earlier in the show Trick showed up to the arena and you were like, he even parked like an asshole, and I fucking died because
He
yeah,
did. He
that's
really
a
did.
dude, he was so angry too. He's like, bro, you're in the main event. What do you want? But yeah, that's another thing I hope with the call up is that I hope Trick mellows the fuck out. I mean, maybe pun intended, honestly, if he's on the
Yeah.
same brand as Carmelo Hayes. But yeah,
I
it's
hope
okay,
he's
Trick.
not, honestly. I hope that we do not get Trick and Mello on the same brand for the first year of Trick's main roster run to allow him to get established. And maybe for Mello to get a little bit of a rehab because he is in the mud right now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with Foster. He said, "I'm still sad Trick never got a good run." That was the weirdest thing with their booking of Trick, and I've pointed out multiple times on the show. Like, I don't think they ever really let him breathe and really be tested as a world champion. They were always kind of playing games. And if Sean's doing that, and that's why I agree with you, and you're right to be concerned about Trick, because if Sean's doing that and he's supposedly the good one by, internet standards as far as black culture and repping the culture, the fuck do you think Triple H is going to do with Trick when the
Yep.
thing about him is he's not beating the allegations, which we say it for a reason because I mean Montez Ford wrestled his fucking ass off in an elimination chamber and Triple H didn't even name drop him at the presser. Like Trick has a real uphill battle.
Yeah.
Oba, I think less so just because of his size and his aura. Like I don't even think Triple H can deny that. Trick Trick's got a fight ahead of him.
Yeah.
He really died. I hate saying it. I take no joy in saying that. Believe me, folks, you can tell when I take joy in saying something. I
Well, and
refer
that's the
you
thing
back to
too
my
is Trick
yeah.
is over like gangbusters, but he's also losing Booker T on commentary.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And you know what is always so bad about WWE? Sometimes they do try and like replicate things that they know are over or viral or whatever. You're not gonna have like Pat McAfee could try, and maybe Pat McAfee could do his own spin with it if Trixie was on Raw, which I'm not committing to that. I'm just saying as a possibility. But I don't know. Like I know everybody has their opinions about Booker T. I personally find what he did with Trick like endearing. It's almost like you can't imagine one without the other. So they might try and have Pat McAfee show like a similar energy the way that he does with Jey Uso. And it's Pat, and I love him, but I don't know. I don't know. I worry about Trick. I don't blame your fears at all. I don't disagree with your fears at all. I share them actually. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just really excited for Oba. 2025 has got to be a big year for Oba. We got to really get this show on the fucking road as far as I'm concerned. So I'm ready for it.
Yes. All right, man.
Right.
That covers everything that we wanted to preview and predict today. Can you think of anything that happened on the NXT show tonight that we haven't touched on already that we missed out?
Nothing really of any significance, bro. I
No.
feel like I
I
feel
think
like
we
yeah, we're
covered it.
good.
All right, then we are done here.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please leave a like as you file out. Subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you miss any of that 12-hour goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast and all the IWC. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 11 for our review of WWE Evolve, which apparently, according to NXT, is going to have a fatal four-way for the main event. Chantel Monroe versus Callie Armstrong versus Brinley Reese versus Kendall Gray. So let's go, Kendall Gray.
Hell yeah, Kendall, get it.
So yeah, you're gonna hear our review of that match and everything else on WWE Evolve this week at 11 p.m. after Dynamite, which, according to my core and commentary here, is low key stacked. So all you AEW fans, enjoy it. You've definitely earned it, and that just comes from my very pessimistic feelings about that company. So until then, guys, be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and